So I'm gonna be honest. Today is gonna be a little bit of a tough love kind of video for you, but tough love in a really good way, because I think a lot of you really need to hear what I have to tell you today. And my intention is that it truly gives you a healthy mirror to be like, whoa, I do not want to do that anymore. No wonder this hasn't been working, and you have a breakthrough and you're actually able to shift states. So I'm not doing this to shame you, but I do want you to see so clearly who you're really being when you're in this type of state I'm about to talk about, and why it's really not working for you. And it's easier to shift out of it than you even give yourself credit for. But first, as always, I will introduce myself. My name is Genevieve, and on this channel we talk all about manifestation, mostly law of assumption, but I do throw in other things that I have found to be very supportive and complementary to doing law of assumption work. I have lots of links in the description below for different ways that you can connect with me and work with me. I very much, especially if you connect with this video today, I very much recommend you get my 31-day self-concept course, because it will very specifically address exactly what the F I'm talking about today. So that is available below, a 31-day self-concept course that is unlike any other self-concept course that you have done, trust me. So if you resonate with this today, definitely get that below. But I also have a 21-day master course in manifesting any specific person. So that's also a good one for you. And I know that my way of explaining to you how to manifest a specific person in a healthy way will be good for you as well if you connect to this video today. You can also follow me on Instagram. You can do a one-on-one session. You can look at my other ASMR channel. There's all those links down below. So I recommend that you do that. But now I want to kick your ass a little bit. So I have to be honest, as a manifestation coach, you can imagine it gets pretty draining to be trying to fix people's needy, desperate energy all the time. Especially when it's so freaking obvious to me why it's not working for you. Because I'm saying this because imagine being me and hearing people constantly ask, well, why isn't my SP changing? I did all my affirmations. Why isn't this happening? Why isn't it working? Oh my gosh, everything's wrong. It's like constantly hearing that over and over again from people who are so desperate and so blind to who they are actually being. And it's like, again, to me, it's so obvious, but to you maybe, especially if you're an extra desperate energy, it's like, that's why it's not working, because you are trying so hard to change other people. You care so much, too much about what other people think. You care too much about the external world in a way that you're making your entire identity dependent, contingent on external shifts, external subtle changes. You're so hyper fixating on it in this way that you are so needy. It's like you don't even have your own identity. And I know I'm being strong here, but I really want you to tap into what this feels like, because a lot of humans can relate to occasionally going into this kind of a desperate place. It is a very human place to go. But when you spend too long there, especially when you spend too long there in relation to another person, like your specific person, if you're always in this fixated and desperate and yearning and wanting energy, if that is your state of being towards that person, and then you're coming online and asking a manifestation coach, well, why isn't it working? Why isn't it working? I've been doing all my affirmations or whatever. It's like, to me, it's so obvious why it's not working, because you are still in a state that is so not the right state to receive any kind of attention from that person. And because you want their attention so badly, that's not already having it. Like, haven't you heard me and every other manifestation coach say over and over and over again, the way you manifest is that you already internally have it. You are already being somebody who is that which they want to receive. You know internally you've already got it. You are in a self-sustaining cycle of energy, and everything you say to yourself, your affirmations, your techniques, the visualizations, all of it is for you to pattern your own self, to be in your own self-sustain, like, oh yeah, I do have it. Oh yeah, I am enough. Oh yeah, I am amazing. Oh yeah, I am loved. You're not saying, I'm loved, I'm loved, I'm loved, and then looking and being like, but why aren't they validating that I'm loved? I told myself that I'm loved a million times, and but my SP is still not validating. They're still not doing what I want them to do. And it's like, because you're not doing this genuinely. When you claim the affirmation, I am loved, that's it. Like, you have claimed it, you have decided it's true, so you're like, yep, that's true. But if you are saying any affirmation, especially about a specific person, And then you're constantly looking out to see, okay, are they going to do it? Have I controlled them yet? Are they going to validate me today? Are they changed yet? Are they changed yet? Are they changed yet? Oh my gosh. It's like you have to see how you're doing it wrong. Like you just have to. I can't be the only one sitting here frustrated about why you're so confused that this isn't working. Like when I say that how to manifest a specific person, for example, when I say you have to genuinely change the dynamic you feel inside towards that person, when I say that, you have to ask yourself, okay, like if I'm asking all the manifestation coaches, why hasn't my SP changed? You have to reflect internally and you have to ask yourself, okay, have I changed? Like, am I actually being the person who is self-sustained in how I know I'm so adored, I know I'm so loved, I know I'm so chosen, especially by that person, and I'm not like even needing anything from them because I'm like self-sustaining in my own cycle of energy. Like if you really are embodying that, one, you're not even on the internet asking these questions, because when you really are just like vibing in your own magnetism. And you know this because again, as a human, you've probably been in this state before too, the opposite of needy and desperate, where you've naturally been in phases of your life maybe, where you felt totally just like, you just really just enjoyed your own life. You weren't really looking to other people to validate you. You really didn't give a fuck about what other people thought about you. You were just in your own purpose, your own energy, your own magnetism. You were just doing your thing. And it just so happened at that time that people gave you a lot more attention probably, or you got a lot of lucky breaks, if you want to call it that, where things just happened to line up for you, or, you know, people were just giving you all these kinds of compliments and things. And it's not because you were at that time, it's funny to me, like you were not at that time when you were feeling that way, if you have experienced it, because I know that there are some of you that maybe haven't, but for those of you who have had this time of your life, you were not every day like, okay, I'm loved, I'm so lucky, I have lucky girl syndrome, and you were just saying that over and over again, and then looking outside to be like, okay, who's gonna tell me today that I'm really hot, or who's gonna validate me today, like who's gonna tell me what I want to hear today? You were not doing that kind of thing. And I understand you're probably not, of course, physically, like I'm over exaggerating. Of course, you're not physically out in the world like who's gonna love me today, but I'm saying energetically, your energy, your actual state of being, who you're being pushed out, is being this hyper fixated on the 3D, wanting constant validation, wanting constant attention. And when you were genuinely, if you've been in a genuine state of just being in your own high self-concept, just really vibing in your own purpose, in feeling self-sustained within yourself, you weren't waking up being like, okay, I wonder if people are going to do what I want today. I wonder if my SP is going to finally like do what I want them to do today. You were not doing that. So this is what I mean about, you need to genuinely ask yourself, okay, who am I being? Like, I know I'm doing all these techniques, I'm affirming a million times, and I'm scripting and I'm doing visualizing and all that. But if who you're really being behind all these techniques is someone who really gives too many fucks about the 3D world, really gives too many fucks about what other people are thinking of you, then you are not in a high self-concept. You are still way too dependent on your SP, on external circumstances, on needing to be validated by your manifestations, and that is never going to work. And even if it did work, let me just throw this in there. Even if it did work, let's say when it comes to your SP, let's say you magically just did achieve mind control over your SP, which would totally suck for them. But let's just say they became a robot and they just instantly were totally controlled by you and they did everything that you wanted them to do. Even if that did work, it would not leave you with lasting fulfillment. Even if your SP was going through all the motions of doing everything perfect for you, bringing you breakfast in bed every day, giving you roses every day, texting you how much they love you all the time, if you aren't right within yourself, you are the operant power of your life. You're the only one who can maintain your energy. It's never the actions of someone else outside of you that maintains your energy. And this is why it's so important to not be reliant on anything outside of you to keep you going, because those things outside of you are limited and they're also dead. This is what we also mean by the 3D is dead, is they're just old reflections. They're just old creations that are just like reverberations that are after the fact of your energy. This is where all the power is within you. And so even if your SP did everything perfect and is just loving you every day and they're just the most loyal little puppy to you, you would not be sustained by that. You would find something else that was wrong. You would find something else to be unhappy about. You would still feel probably anxious or unfulfilled and searching for the next thing that's going to make you feel okay. Because if you continue to be in this state that needs so much validation, constant validation from the 3D and from your manifestations, then you are always going to be dissatisfied, because you're always going to be delusionally placing your sense of power outside of yourself. And there's always going to be something you think you need to fix, or something that you're fixated on next, or it's never enough. And even if you got the most amazing hot body or the perfect amount of money, it would never be enough. And you know this is true because look at celebrities. There are so many celebrities and crazy rich people who are miserable and who actually kill themselves with drug overdoses and all kinds of crazy stuff, because it doesn't matter how much money or sex or love or fun times or whatever that they have access to, if they are not actually finding their own self-sustaining energy cycling within themselves, their own source of connection and fulfillment that only comes from your God self, that only comes from this powerful magnetism that you always have access to, but that you have amnesia about because you're so fixated on out here. If you lose that connection, if you're not taking care of that connection, then yeah, you can drive yourself to death because you're chasing and chasing and chasing and it's never enough. Whew. Anyway, so I'm bringing all of this up because as a conscious manifester, you are meant to actually give less fucks about the 3D world, because you, in all your learning, you're realizing, oh, the 3D world is kind of like a shadow. It's kind of like, again, the after effect of things. So there's really no power there. So knowing that information, you should be like, okay, I don't even need to give a fuck about what anybody thinks. I don't really need to get anything from anybody because there's nothing to get out here. It's all just, it's just reflections of old creations. It's just like old momentum energy made into physical form. So I really, and it's always again behind you. Like I always say in my videos, that the 3D is always behind you. It never goes ahead of you. It never gives you permission or validation or proof that anything's gonna happen for you or not. You have to decide within yourself and be very self-sustaining. Be so self-interested in a very healthy way, and that you're always asking yourself, what would make me feel really good to do today? What really makes me feel connected to myself and connected to others in a healthy way? Like always asking yourself, like, what could I do for me that just would make me feel good and have no fucks to give about what anybody thinks? Because if you are doing this and then constantly wondering like, well, I wonder what they think. Like I've been affirming a lot. I wonder what they think. I wonder what my SP thinks. I wonder what they're going to do today. I wonder what everyone else is thinking about me. I've been doing this for so long. So I wonder what everyone else is thinking. If you are in that kind of like even more fixated on what everybody else is doing and what are they thinking and what are they going to do to validate you today, you are going to have a really bad time and you are going to keep suffering. You're not going to do this well. So again, I don't want you, and it's weird to me, like this is why I'm bringing this up in some ways, is because it's weird to me that a lot of you have come into manifestation, and coming into manifestation has made you more fixated on the 3D. It's supposed to be the opposite. You come into this, you realize the power is all within you, and you're supposed to be less fixated on the 3D. You're so, again, self-interested in this very healthy way of like, how can I trust myself more? How can I really tell myself things that are going to be a great experience for me, and tell myself these things in a way that I start to trust myself more and really build this, like, again, self-sustaining cycle of self-love within me, so that I'm no longer looking to anybody to prop me up. I don't need my SP to freaking text me every day because I just have it within me. So I know that I say this, and a lot of you are so, like, the idea of being truly just so self-focused in a healthy way is so foreign to you that your wounded ego that's so fixated in the current state you're in, it hears what I'm saying and thinks, oh, well, if I focus totally on myself in that way, if I don't need my SP anymore, then my SP will just go away and they won't come back at all. But you know, like in your higher self, you know that's not true. Like I'm telling you this because this is the way that actually works. Like you are going to be specific within yourself about what you have and what type of relationship you have to the specific people in your life that you would like to manifest. But you cannot ever be checking to see if they're doing it yet or looking to them to change in this, again, hyper-fixated way. You have to trust that the more you are so like just vibing in your own magnetism and you are like, yep, I feel good about myself. I don't really need fucking anyone to validate me because I just know that I got this and I'm amazing. And the more you are doing that, the irony is that the SP does change. This is what I was saying before about going back to if you've had times in your life that you naturally were just in your own self in a healthy way, you just naturally achieved a better self-concept for a period of time. You know that people were drawn to you not because you were obsessing over them. They were drawn to you because you were just like in this cool, amazing, magnetic, just glowing, like so self-sustaining, knew that you had it without even needing anything from anybody. That is what really draws people to you. So I want you to get it because, again, as a manifestation coach, it gets so old, like it gets so frustrating to hear you guys just saying the same things over and over again of like, why didn't it work? Because I did all the things right and it's like the fact that you're even asking, like the fact that you're in a state that is so like needing them to change and you're trying so hard and you're just like doing it all just to get them to change. That's why it's not working. Like I know it's annoying. I know you want to be with this person, but them not coming towards you and being with you is a sign that you are not in the state of being that can handle the kind of relationship that you're claiming you want. Because newsflash, especially when it comes to relationships, they are very much an alive, two-way street kind of thing. Relationships are not all about getting them to change, getting them to prioritize you and love you and do all the things you want them to do. It's about who are you being in that dynamic towards them? Are you being someone who knows that you are prioritized in the relationship with them, and not because of anything they do, but just because you know it. And when you know you are prioritized, you exude a different energy, if you want to call it that. You just have a different way of being. And there is, like, I don't know how else to describe it except for like when you get to that place, you really do just stop needing it. There is a natural detachment that happens, and it's not a detachment of like you don't want it anymore. It's actually the opposite, where you really do know you already have it because you're just walking around in the energy of it all the time. So what's so cool about being a human operant power is that we can pick a state that has nothing to do with our current reality, but the more we're in that state, just walking around just like saturated and like, yes, I am so prioritized, I am so enough, and especially this person, I can feel it with them, and that we can do that and have no proof or permission from the 3D that we can have it. And not only that, but our being in that saturated energy actually changes that other person, actually draws them to us, is like, whoa, that's amazing. So please approach this like you are doing it for you, and not to like hyper-fixated be like, okay, change, please change so I can feel better. Like if you're doing it that way, it's like, of course this isn't gonna work. And of course you suffer more. And of course you feel like you wish you never discovered manifesting because you're doing it so wrong. It has to be you give way less fucks about the 3D. You give in some ways way less fucks about your SP in the 3D because you are no longer picking that version of them. You're only having the version of them that you've created inside, and you're not constantly looking to them to be like, are they doing it yet? Are they doing it yet? Are they doing it yet? You have to stop doing that. You have to stop checking. You have to live completely in a self-sustained magnetism where you really do put yourself first in a very genuine way, not in a way that's like performative and like, let me act confident so that I can manipulate somebody to pick me. Like that's not gonna last very long. You might get short-term results from that, but it's not gonna last long. So anyway, I hope this rant was helpful to you. I know this was a little bit different in that it's like a little more tough love than my other videos, but I just have to say it because I want you to see yourself clearly, even if you're doing this a little bit, because I know I used kind of extreme examples in this video. And again, it's not about you acting needy in the 3D. It's not, because a lot of you too, like I'll have client calls and I'll be talking about like my insights into them and, you know, kind of the energy that they're probably putting out towards their person. And they'll say stuff like, well, I don't text him every day. I don't like act needy. And it's like, yeah, because the 3D doesn't matter. The person isn't responding to how you're acting. The person is responding to your genuine energy. It's your genuine energy that's pushed out. And that's what they are subconsciously always reacting to. They probably don't even know it. Most of the time, SPs, they have no idea why they're rejecting you. Like they'll just think of a random logical reason in that moment, but really they have no idea why their subconscious is being so affected by you. But it's because your genuine vibe towards them is needy. And even if on the surface you're trying to play it cool and like pretend to be confident and like be the cool girl so that you can get picked, like that's what they're responding to, is who you're genuinely being inside, not who you're pretending to be on the surface to try to like manipulate them to talk to you more. Okay, this was a long rant. That's all I got for you today, but I hope this was helpful for you. Again, if this resonated with you at all and you can feel what I'm saying and you can feel it in the way that you're manifesting, please get my self-concept course, because it will really help address a lot of what I have talked about in this video in terms of like, if you are in a state of you're just giving way too many fucks about what other people think, you are manifesting to try to like fix the world and like make sure everything's good so that then maybe you'll feel better, you're doing it wrong. And you need to get healthfully focused on yourself again in a way that you don't give a fuck about anybody. Because you, as you know, intuitively you know this, when you don't give so many fucks about what other people think, ironically, people think better of you. People give you more attention. People think you're cooler because you are not in an energy it's like, oh, I hope I'm okay. I hope they love me. I hope I'm doing the right thing. Oh, I hope I didn't mess up my manifestation. Like, we've got to stop doing that. Any fearful, insecure thoughts where it's all about like, how do I be more perfect so that I can get everybody to like me, especially my SP? It's not working for you and you are suffering. I know you're suffering because here you are on YouTube watching all this content because you're not doing this right. So anyway, that is it. Let me know what your thoughts are, what your questions are. I'm laughing because I'm just anticipating someone asking like, oh, but my SP, I did all the affirming. But anyway, I know you guys aren't gonna ask that. Anyway, I will see you in my next video. All right, bye.